coming to you with my daily live. This show that I do every day is called The Good Parts, which usually I'm coming live to share good parts, happy parts, things that can help us be more free and prosperous in life. And I had a comment some time ago that if you're a person that tries to be positive and tries to be happy most of the time, hey Nick, thanks for saying hello. One of the comments that you might receive is that, oh, you're just a Pollyanna type person. You never notice the parts of life that don't seem to be that great. And the truth is that's not true. I think all of us are aware of things that are good, things that are not so good. It's just that in endeavoring to have a positive mental attitude, what we strive to do most of the time is focus our minds on the things that make us happy, the things that bring us hope, the things that bring us joy. And then when we're made aware of those things that cause sadness, we do the best that we can to find the good parts in those as well. And today I have some sad news. And it was important to me to go live today and share this, even though it's obviously not something that's making me smile, because I know that some of you, if you've been connected to me for a while, may also have this friend in common, a mutual friend. If you're new to following me or knowing me, you may not know this friend, and that's okay. I still think there can be some value in the message that I want to share today. But I figured the people that do know this friend would want to know about this. My friend, Minister Christian, sent me a message this morning via Facebook and made me aware. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known. And as sad as it makes me, I'm glad that I know. And I wanted to share this message. So I appreciate the love in the comments, guys. Thank you, Bill and Danny and Bryce. So before I tell you about this friend and let you know what's going on, I wrote in the description that he lost his only child, a daughter. And through many conversations I've had with this man in the past, I know that he loved his daughter very much, obviously, as any parent loves their children, and especially if you have one child. I mean, you can imagine how much you would love this child and how proud you would be of this child. And my friend was definitely in this category. Oftentimes when we would talk, he would tell me about his daughter and what she was doing and how happy he was for the woman that she was becoming. And so before I tell you about this, I wanted to share just a little bit more of a message that may offer some value to you aside from, just knowing about something sad that's happening. Yesterday, I was talking to another really great friend who's going through a very hard time and experiencing some grief. And we were having a conversation on the phone. And one of the things that I mentioned in that conversation, I said, all problems are kind of relative in that sometimes we can be going through something on a personal level, and when our mind and our eyes and our consciousness are 100% focused only on the problem that we're going through, we can really make it seem as if it's the worst thing in the world that could possibly be happening, and that the cross that we're bearing is just too much to bear. And why would I have to bear this cross? It's just too big. It's too heavy. There's nothing that could be worse. This is a kind of a frame of mind that we all, I think, can sometimes get into when we're dealing with things that are hard. And in this conversation, I made that comment to my friend who's dealing with some hard things. And then I told my friend about something that recently happened in my local community, which is there was a young man who was hunting. He was duck hunting, and he was wearing these waders, waist-high waders, and he went out on the ice to retrieve the game. and the ice broke and he fell in the water. Now, this was a teenage boy. He was a state champion wrestler. He fell in the water. His waders filled up with water and he got pulled under the ice. And his friends tried to pull him out, and they grabbed the straps of his waders, and the straps broke, and he went under the water. The story is that his friends a little bit later saw his head pop up just as he went around the bend of the river, and I was seeing these things being reported. My wife was telling me about them, and I was seeing some news stories, come across my consciousness that this was going on. And one of my best friends, who some of you might know, his name is Andrew. He was at our event that we just did in Charlotte, North Carolina. My family, we were doing a skiing trip last Saturday, and I texted him because his family bought a season pass, and my family bought a season pass, so we're planning on doing some skiing. And I said, hey, do you want to go skiing tomorrow? And he didn't respond. And I think I texted him again, no response, which is not normal. And so when we're on the ski hill, Andrew calls me, and I pick up the phone, and he said, Paul, I'm so sorry that I wasn't able to get back to you. For the last 2 days, I've been helping my friend look for the body of his son. And it was this boy that had died in this accident. And I didn't know that Andrew, my friend, knew this kid's father. And Andrew took 2 days out of his time to go try to help his father find this son. And Andrew told me that this father had just this year had recently gone through a very, very hard time, personal challenge that was going on. And it was his son that stood there by his side and was his friend and support and helped him to get through that. And you think about that, and you think about how hard that must be for that father to lose that son who was not just a son, but a friend and a support, and to have it happen at the 1st of December, going into to Christmas time. So I shared that story with my friend who was dealing with this other thing, all with the idea that, problems are kind of relative. And sometimes our problems seem so big, but when we hear about the things other people are going through, it can lighten our load a little bit, whatever load it is that we're carrying. And so today I get this message that my good friend Sakshi lost his daughter Ocean. And it's just so sad. And another example of how people are dealing with things that are so hard. And another thing that came up in the conversation, actually, let me just share this with you guys. For those of you who know Sakshi, I want you to be aware of this, not have to go all the way through this live if you don't want to go through it. But Sakshi is this guy right here. I've known him for such a long time. He's a musician. He's filled with peace and love and just one of the greatest people you could ever meet. That's Sakshi. And this is his daughter Ocean. And they have a GoFundMe set up here because I believe that they want to raise some money to bring Ocean back to the mainland. They're in Hawaii. They've been living in Hawaii for the last few years, but they want to bring her back to the mainland for her burial. And so if you know Sakshi and you want to donate to help with this, I'm going to post the link to the GoFundMe in the comments. So yes, I wanted you to be aware of that. And that was really the main purpose of me going live today, was to share this, because I know I have friends who know Sakshi, and will want to know about this. And so the last part of my message, is that as I was talking to my friend kept repeating the phrase, I just don't understand. I just don't understand. Why is it that I have to go through this? And I told my friend, I said, maybe some things we're not supposed to understand. Like you look at this situation with my friend Sakshi and that other story of that dad who lost his child. I don't know if there's a way to understand that. I really don't. Some things maybe we're not meant to understand right now, and maybe some things We just have to learn to accept, even though we don't like them, even though they're hard, even though they're sad, they happen and we have to accept them. And then I think what we have to do is just do our best to get through them and support the people who are going through them as they're going through those things. And obviously there are good things that can come out of loss and grief. And I'm not speaking to Sakshi right now, because one phrase that's come up to me in the past when I have met with people who are dealing with the loss of someone that was close to them is there just are no words. There just are no words. What could I say that could make this any less heavy than it is? I have nothing other than that I love you and I'm praying for you and I'm sending you strength. And I'm hoping that you'll find meaning and purpose and some goodness in this experience somehow. And I know that in my past experiences dealing with loss and especially loss of people that I've loved, there are some things that we can think about that can help a little bit, I think. When I lost my grandfather, my friend Amy, she sent me a note that said, "Grief is such a beautiful wild beast." And this was her phrase. She wrote that. And Amy has dealt with plenty of grief in her life. She lost her mother in a car accident when she was a young girl. And so when she sent me that note, "Grief is such a beautiful wild beast," I understood it, because although it was such a beast, it was so hard to lose my grandpa and my grandma in a relatively short amount of time. It was wild. It was hard. But there was also beauty in that. In that I was in those moments able to think about the gift that had been their lives to me. Like, I was able to think about the gift that their lives had been to me. So although it was so hard and so just world shattering, there were also moments of beauty in there as I treasured up what their life had meant to me and what they had brought me and what they had taught me while we had time together here. So if you're out there dealing with any sort of a problem or any sort of grief, I hope that today's message can help a little bit in that. Number one, all problems are relative. And maybe when you hear about these things that I've talked about today, whatever load you're carrying can feel a little bit lighter. That's number one. And then number two, I still think there is goodness in everything. And I think that may be part of the challenge with these super hard things, is to somehow stay connected to the good and somehow still find faith, through these things that we don't understand. Because you can kind of go two directions, right? You can go bitter and angry and that life has no meaning and that life has no purpose and that life is unfair and that, if there's a God, that this is just nothing that any God who loves us would do or would cause us to endure. You can go that way. But the other way you can go is to strive to connect to some sort of divine meaning and purpose and higher meaning and sense in it all, and have faith and latch onto that faith and allow that faith to carry you through. And there's only one of those choices, I think, that gives us the strength to get through these things that we sometimes have to deal with. And so anyway, that's my message today. I'm sorry if I brought you down with this message, but it was really in my heart to share. I love Sakshi so much. He's one of my best friends, and he's such a good guy. He's such a good guy. And if you can, or if you want to, and another reason I wanted to share this is because around Christmas time, one of the meanings of Christmas for me is to see if I can be a little bit less self-focused and a little bit more others-focused. And I think one thing that is a good thing to do around Christmas time, if you have the means, and I know that not everyone's maybe in this position, or maybe we all are in some way, because means doesn't have to be financial means. Means can be spiritual means. It can be words of encouragement. If you have something in you to give, Christmas is a time where you can think about those around you that might need to be on the receiving end of that gift. And so one of the things that I think is good, if you can financially, is around Christmas time, try to think about someone who maybe less fortunate or maybe struggling in a way where some sort of financial gift could help from you. It could be big, it could be small, it could be medium, you know. And so I wanted to submit this to my friends and those who might be wondering as we're going into the Christmas holiday, is there someone around me who could benefit from some sort of a gift from me that, you know, is outside my family? You know, I think it's good. You know, we're used to giving gifts to our family, our kids and, and our spouses and, you know, the people that are really close to us. But I also think it's a good thing to step outside of that sometimes and look around your community for maybe someone that you're not so closely connected to. And if you can give some sort of an anonymous gift where maybe they don't even know it's coming from you, but somehow you showed up to be a blessing in their life, I think that's something that can make Christmas so special and so meaningful. And I know that's something that my family tries to do every year. And so if you're wondering, if you're in that spot, is there someone that I could send a donation to that might be meaningful to them, and you haven't found that person, maybe Sakshi could be a worthy recipient of whatever gift you'd like to give. So I'm going to post the GoFundMe link below this video if you want to share with Sakshi and somehow help this situation be just a little bit better. So I thank you guys all for your comments. Michelle says, prayers for Sakshi. There truly are no words for something so beyond heartbreaking, right? Tiffany says, so sorry. Daphne says, I'm sorry for your loss. I pray that God comfort you and everyone who is hurting by Sakshi's passing. Thank you so much. And that's it, guys. So thanks again for the comments. If you guys know Sakshi and you know people who know Sakshi, maybe make this video aware to them if you would. I love you guys. Hope you have a great day. Thanks, everyone.